Oh, okay, yo. Before we even start, I just need to say, I don't know if you knew this. I did not. That this movie was part two of a three-part trilogy. I'm
Yes.
sorry, it was part two of a three-part trilogy, right? I'm
Yes.
sorry, let me say this. I knew there were going to be a third movie before I saw this. I saw it was announced, Beyond the Spider Verse.
Right.
I did not know this was a part one of that movie.
Of that movie.
I
Yes.
thought it was just a second movie and we were going to get a third one. And
Oh man.
yo, Jovi,
Oh,
I can't
amazing.
wait for the third movie. Oh my
Amazing.
god.
And it's coming out in less than a year, which is
Uh yes,
amazing.
okay. So y'all, for those who don't know, this is all about Spider-Verse. Across the Spider-Verse, yo. Oh, this is just going to be a gush session from me. I'm serious. But let's get it in. Welcome back to Small Couch Reviews, everybody. It's your boy Sam.
It's your boy Jovi.
And yeah, today we are talking about Across the Spider Verse. Came out this past weekend. I finally got to see it. Jovi saw it, and I'm going. We haven't talked about it, but I'm going to go out on a limb and say we both loved it.
Well, I,
It is the sequel to 2018's Spider Verse. 5 years ago, Into the Spider Verse was 5 years ago. Um, before I saw this, I don't know. Like I was watching a bunch of people talk about this movie, and they were talking about how Into the Spider Verse kind of changed the game for animation.
yeah.
Um, and I didn't really think about it, but yeah, it kind of did. It was so well animated that it kind of just like the way animation was done, where it had to look super real, like Disney
Hmm.
Pixar. If it was just trying to be that,
Yeah.
yeah, it changed the game. I mean, we've had so many different types of animations that came out. Like you saw that movie, The Bad Guys. We got Arcane. There's this channel on Netflix that looks exactly like um, Spider Verse now. So I mean, I do think it's kind of I do see its impact more than I would have thought. All that to say, Jovi, I can't believe this movie. I honestly can't believe it was only 5 years between movies. This movie that just came out, it looks like
Yeah.
it should have taken like 10 or 15 years to make.
Well, I've been told and I've been reading it's like certain animations, certain characters took an entire 2 years to make. So, like
Okay, I
just
mean,
single characters,
yeah,
that's saying so much that
there's so much in this. Exactly, one
yeah,
character, 2 years to make. There's so
yeah,
much in this movie. Now, just like the first one, the art style changes depending on like the universe, right?
yeah, yeah.
Um, and I mean, they visit, maybe let's say maybe 5 or 6 different universes. But the thing that's insane is in one universe, there's like I guess the one when they're all together, you see so many different art styles all
Hmm.
on one screen.
Hmm.
Like I honestly I don't know how they did it. Like I like they must have gotten all the artists together and be like, you need to draw on this one panel, then like pass it over to the next person. But like,
Hey, that's hilarious because
dog,
that's what that's what we think and
hmm
that's what we visualize of like what animation is. But I feel like it's come such a long way that you could just work on your own project and they just drop it in.
oh, you know what? Probably,
Yeah,
maybe,
but in reality, like that's what it would have been for back in the day before things
right, right.
changed. It's like here's your panel, your character has to fit here.
Exactly, exactly. That's what I'm thinking. I'm
Yeah.
like, I don't know how you did it. Like that's why I'm saying this. Like, and if I bury the lead, that means this movie is beautiful.
Oh, it's
Absolutely.
spectacular. I mean, there's no reason to have y'all wait to the end. Like, there's nothing wrong with this film.
Yeah,
And it's
yeah.
very hard to do, not only with animation, but with storytelling and, dare I say, just compelling characters. Like,
Yeah, man.
you have thousands of Spider-Men and women, spider
So many
people.
little Easter eggs, dog. Like when
Yeah.
I saw, like, I mean, minor spoiler, like the one from the video game makes an appearance.
Yes.
When I saw him, I was like, "Oh snap! It's the
And then
dude
the one
behind
from the
the
series
white
that's
spider."
really, really small. That
Yeah,
it's like, yo, and then the idea that all of these have a story.
hmm
And then we get a story from maybe 10 of them, right? Within this one film, which is
yeah.
crazy. Uh,
It's great. All of them are good. I mean, I think that so Miles is technically the main character here.
yes.
Although I would argue that this is as much a Gwen Stacy movie as it is his. The
And
movie actually starts with Gwen. We spend
yeah,
quite a
I
while with her, honestly, before
that's
we
what I
even see
want. I
Miles Ryder.
honestly thought that's what this was going to be.
Oh
Like I
yeah,
really thought this was going to be a Gwen Stacy movie, and then the third one was going to have everybody come together. Like I didn't think we were going to get that much Spider Verse. I didn't think we were
Mhm.
going to get that many Spider Man. I didn't think we were going to get that many universes. I really. That's why I was in the theater. Like, yo, we're in a Lego world right now
Yeah, right.
that was animated by a teenager.
Yeah.
Like, come on, like that. That alone makes this movie cool. Like,
Yeah, man, that joint was it was. I don't know. Yeah, the Lego one again. I don't even know how they did that.
yeah, that was a kid, man. A kid did that.
That's insane, bro.
Yeah.
Are you serious?
Yes.
Gosh, oh my gosh, the talent in this world. What am I
Right.
doing with my life?
Like, right. There's no way, even with getting graphic designer of the year 2 years in a row, there's no way I would have been able to animate that back in the day.
yeah, as a child, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. But yeah, so I mean the story here, like we said, so it starts with Gwen. Basically, we get a little bit more of her backstory than we did in Into the Spider Verse. And she goes to join this, like, I guess, League of Spider Men, led by Miguel O'Hara, who is Spider Man 2099.
Mm-hmm.
And they are basically trying to save the multiverse from these, let's call them incursions, anomalies that should not be
Anomalies.
happening but are
Yeah.
happening. Um, and it's funny. I like how he when he's explaining, he talks about Doctor Strange, and he's like that
Yeah.
what he did. So that was pretty cool. And yeah, so like that's where you get the Easter eggs from. They pop into different universes that you'll recognize from other movies.
Right.
And so basically, yeah, so they're trying to stop these incursions. And then we go over to Miles' world, and we see that he has a pretty big one in I guess the let's call him the main villain of this film. His character named Spot.
Yes.
He. Sorry, I was trying to make sure I'm not giving away too much, but yeah. So he's kind
Dude,
of
it's been out. It will be out
yeah.
for a week
He's a.
tomorrow.
I like Spot. I actually liked him as a villain because he's a little relatable. He just starts off as this dude who's like trying to rob an ATM, right? He's just
Right.
like a street villain, street level villain,
Just
trying to rob an
to make it.
ATM. And then he blames Spider-Man for his condition because he's literally just like a white blob that can make spots appear everywhere, right?
Right.
And you actually, I don't know if it was intentional, but they actually show how he was created in the first movie when
Mm-hmm.
Spider-Man threw a bagel at him. um,
Yes.
but anyway, so he blames Spider-Man, and he's a very interesting villain because, like we said, he starts off as like street level, but then he just keeps growing and growing and growing until he's like a multiversal level problem.
Right.
That this League of Spider-Man are like, okay, we got to handle this because this is
Oh
a big
man,
deal.
his ultimate form,
Yeah, man.
fire.
Yeah, it's so good.
Like terrifying, cool, just
Yeah.
my life. If anybody doesn't know, my life is run on alarms and
Yeah.
calendars. So
Yeah, nah, I feel you, bro. I feel you. But yeah, man. So I mean, like Jovi said, the story is just so good. Like we haven't even talked about the action yet. It's just, I mean, because
oh,
that's a given. But like just Miles's story with like Spot's story, like how he's relatable.
yeah,
Gwen's story with like how she's basically feels alone with she
right,
can talk to nobody, and Miles is the same way. Like you see him and his family and their dynamic, and how like actually it's kind of similar with him and Gwen and all the spider people. It's like they have this part of their lives they literally can't talk about,
mm-hmm.
and because they're trying to protect these people, right?
Yeah,
And by doing that, you're actually kind of pushing them away. Literally that's what makes like Superman obviously is my favorite hero ever. Right after him, it's Spider-Man because he's the closest thing to like that type of hero that I think Superman is. It's like you're so selfless, you're doing so much to
mm-hmm.
help people, that like you're hurting your relationships and yourself to do it.
Yeah,
And I just like it's something they all share in common, which is a
mm-hmm.
big theme in this movie. It's like you need some sort of trauma to be Spider-Man, right?
which is crazy. That is literally
Yeah,
the theme of
that's the theme
this
of the movie.
movie.
The Miguel O'Hara, voiced beautifully by Oscar Isaac, which is
Mhm.
let me just say that too. The voices in this movie, spectacular. Voice
Oh
acting
my
is
gosh.
off the charts,
I was
off the
like,
charts, y'all.
so it's Sony. So how about this? We always give Sony grief in a bigger,
Hmm.
the big picture, but they make amazing headphones,
Yeah,
amazing speakers, and clearly have the best recording studios. Like,
yeah,
in that aspect, we're not gonna talk about PlayStation, which
yeah.
you got a special sneak peek into the new game in this movie too, which is dope.
We did.
Yeah, when his roommate is playing, he's playing it when he's sitting down on in the chair. He's playing Spider-Man on his computer screen.
Oh
He's
yeah,
playing
okay.
the new
Yeah, look at
game.
that. Look at that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, there's a lot of like it's really really just I mean it's so good.
Yeah.
It's so good, yeah. Jovi, I'm gonna let you go for a little bit before I keep going on and gushing, but yeah, just
I
let them hear your voice before you.
yo, I'm the guy that always starts off with the bad, but I have nothing bad to say about this. It
Mhm.
it ended perfect. It started perfect. Everyone is complaining about the audio. Blame your theater. Do not blame the movie.
I had no audio issues. What?
Yeah, so
Oh.
no audio issues on my side either. But apparently, the director sent out stickers with every single piece of film or every DVD or whatever, and said turn to volume 27.
Mm.
Theaters did not follow that direction in the beginning of the movie, and dialogue you cannot hear throughout the movie.
Oh yeah, when
So
Gwen is playing the
or
drums or whatever.
complaining. I'm
Okay.
sorry, I saw it in Dolby. It was perfect. Her
Yeah.
scene was perfect. Her scene with the audio lowered, with her audio lowered, and the slowly rise of
Yeah.
the percussion is what made that scene. So if
It
you're
was
complaining
done.
about that,
I,
yeah, you don't understand what they were trying to do. Whatever. That's
yeah.
that's not a gripe on me. That is a gripe on theaters
Audience people.
and
Okay.
audience. Like, don't complain when you don't understand the art behind it, nor or understand that it wasn't Sony's fault. It was the theater.
Right. There's a theater. And you just touched on something real quick. I didn't get on it. You'll probably get on it. The music. I,
Oh,
I don't know how they outdid themselves from the first movie. Like it's just the
yo,
music just
Metro
plays
Boomin.
beautifully.
Hey, we got to shout out Metro Boomin, which he was in the movie as a spider person. Like,
Oh yeah, man. Yeah.
literally, like they gave him one of the funniest lines in the whole movie. My bad, y'all. And it's just like, this is a producer.
Yeah.
And he did the whole soundtrack. And y'all were like, hey, you want to be in the movie? And who would
Bruh,
say
like
no?
the way you notice how the way like a lot of the scenes keep like changing with the different music. It's
Yeah.
like an equalizer essentially.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, it was so good.
Oh, it was.
My young.
So that hey, on that point, let's go into like the things that I love. The music. I mean,
Mhm.
I've already talked about the writing, I've already talked about the story, the animation. There's no way, and this is a personal standpoint, that Mario is going to beat this movie in any category. I'm sorry. This is the only thing that you have to compare right now this
But I'm
year.
sorry, you said it's a say that again?
Mario.
Yeah.
So that would be the only comparison that they have to go against. We've talked about me and the founding fathers talked about this. Was like that's the only thing it has to go up against.
Mhm.
Somebody could argue that they like the story for Mario better, but that's the only thing you can say. You can't say the music was better. You can't say the animation was better.
Oh, okay.
And I will say that the story was not better. So
It's okay. It's funny you say that, Joey. I
yeah,
mean, because I mean, I agree. I honestly, like, I would put this up against, like, seriously, I can't think of a comic book movie that's come out that I think is better, live action or otherwise.
no,
I
no,
mean, I can't. It's like Sony, the studio that, like, I think makes very bad Spider movies. The
yes,
animated version,
yeah,
like, at least this little corner of the world, outside of the Cravens and the Morbiuses
it's
and all
it's
that other
crazy.
nonsense they're gonna make. I think this is like people have been talking about. We're going to see the Flash next week. The Flash.
Yeah.
I'm gonna call it now. There's no way it's going to be better than this movie.
Oof,
Like this is
wow,
something.
yeah. I That's gonna be hard because
Yeah,
everybody's saying it's the best superhero movie they've ever seen.
yeah. No, this is.
This is
This
the
is the
best.
best movie of the best comic movie, definitely of this year. I
Yeah.
would have to think like where Spider Verse ranks in my all time list because it's really up there, bro. It's so good.
No, it's
Like, and
amazing.
if this is what it is, I just make all the movies animated. Like, if this is the quality we're gonna get, just I don't even need
Straight
live
up.
action.
Sony straight like DC. You make some amazing animated
Yeah, no,
films.
exactly. Yeah, yeah. Just
um,
go animated. I don't need live action. But I'm
I
sorry
don't
to cut
have
you off. Please
I
continue.
don't have any more. The ending was by far one of the best endings to a film I've seen in a long time. It
How do
makes
you compare it to Fast X?
oh my god.
They're both cliffhangers, bro.
They're both cliffhangers, but Fast X is setting up a solo film. This is setting up a continuation of an amazing story.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah, bro. Like, I mean,
that ties everything together. And it's just
so
like you're not Miles is not supposed to exist.
right.
And with him not existing makes that universe turn into something totally different. That's such an amazing concept. That's me doing no spoilers. Um that's that idea that he has a job now to fix that universe when it wasn't even his fault that that universe exists like that.
Oh yeah, the universe. He's okay. So okay.
Yeah.
I'll get that in a second.
Yeah. And
I
so
guess
I'm done. I don't have anything.
so. I have one thing I want to say. All right. So Jovi, what he's talking about. I mean, again, very minor spoiler. He goes to a certain universe where there is no Spider-Man because the spider that bit Miles Morales is from another universe, and it should have bitten a Spider-Man in the universe, or it should have bitten a person in the universe it came from. So he discovers, he's like, oh snap, this spider bit me instead of biting someone here, and there's no Spider-Man here. Basically, is one
Mhm.
of the plot points. Spot is another plot point that is like growing and developing, and then Spider Gwen Stacy realizing that maybe the way she's been going about fixing incursions, her and I'm sorry, and Peter B. Parker, the way they've been fixing incursions, maybe that's not the best way about it, is another plot
Mhm.
point, and it's all coming to a head. So there are some people who are like, man, I feel like like the climax is going to be in the next movie, which I can get, but like I think this movie did a good job at basically rounding out characters a lot.
Oh heck yeah.
I don't think they're done growing, but I mean, like you see a lot of growth from Gwen and Miles, especially in their family dynamic and the way they are as people. And I think that was perfect for this movie. I will say, even at 2.5 hours, if this movie want to just go straight into the next one, I'm watching it. I was ready for it, bro.
Oh yeah,
Like,
I had no reason to get up.
yeah,
And
exactly.
the only reason I knew it was ending again, and y'all hear this often, is because the freaking Alamo receipts.
Oh yeah, that giant blows me, bro. It
Because
took me out the movie.
it
Like,
takes
so
you
at the
out.
theater we go to, like it's a dine-in theater, and they bring you your receipt. They say 15 minutes close to the end of the movie.
Yep.
So it's like, oh, okay, well the movie's ending. Thanks for my receipt, guys.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
And I understand because like the size theater that we usually go to, that would be hell of a lot of work to get receipts all the way out
Hmm.
at the exact end of the movie, like when the credits start rolling.
Right.
But at the same time, that's the reason why we always get there half an hour early, because when someone it could be someone walking past or somebody bending over to do something, you completely lose your concentration to the giant screen in front of you.
Yeah, man. And
Um,
in this movie, like seriously,
yeah,
I'm probably going to see this. I know I'm going to see it again, but I'm probably going to see this again in theaters. Like every frame, bro. There's so many. Like my
we were
entire
trying to
like
figure
this
out.
apartment, I could
Yeah,
print out the entire movie
yeah,
and just paste it, and it was every frame was beautiful, man.
yeah.
In
If
Gwen Stacy's
we're
world,
trying
I
to
don't know if
finish,
you
is it
noticed,
in
it looks
3D?
exactly like her comic book, yo. Like the washed
Oh,
out colors, and
yeah,
I love how the colors kept moving every time. Like when she was talking to her dad, which the movie was so emotional. It was
yeah,
so good.
yeah.
Miguel O'Hara, that's what I wanted to talk about. Spider-Man 2099. He leads the Spider Society that
He
deals with these
does.
multiverse incursions, right? And he basically explains every single Spider-Man has there's a point in their life called a canon moment, like like canon.
Hmm.
And it's Uncle Ben dying or someone significant dying that drives them to be Spider-Man.
Mm-hmm.
Um, then it could be like a someone that they're really close to dying that drives them to even develop even further, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he explains if you try to stop this, it will basically destroy your universe, like
Yeah.
it'll cause like a black hole to eat up your universe, which we saw when Miles saved somebody he shouldn't have saved.
Mm-hmm.
So that's basically like one of the driving points of this movie and the next movie. It's like Miles is like, well, I can't just let somebody die. And Miguel O'Hara's
Mm-hmm.
like, nah, you got to let him die
You gotta
or
let him die.
he's going to destroy everything. And that's actually something I want to talk about, bro. Like, this is super petty. It is me, and I know you won't agree. But, like, movies, when they do things like this, it bothers me that, like, and this is, again, it's not a gripe on this movie because I understand why Miles is doing what he's doing, but like there's an established rule, right? Like, hey, if this happens, people will die.
Right.
And Miguel O'Hara is basically the anti-hero type. It's like, look, I will let 10 people die if it means saving a million people.
Right.
And I've always been sympathetic to that type of character because they don't want to do it, but they know it's necessary, right? So when a character like a Miles in this movie, or like Neo in the Matrix, or anybody from any movie who's basically like, "Oh, I know this is how you're doing it, but I'm not going to let it happen." When that happens, it bothers me because it's like you're breaking the rules that basically have been set up in this entire multiverse, and it's like just because we're watching you, right? It's basically plot armor. Like
Right.
you get to break this rule that nobody else gets to break because it's your movie. And
Hmm.
like that just
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't want to say it bothers me. It's something that I've always found funny because like in this joint, Miguel broke the rules and he paid severely for it.
Right. Right. And
Then all the other Spider-Men are like, look, or Spider-Men and women, I should say, are like, yeah, we like, we tried to break the rules. We're gonna pay dearly for it. So it's
yeah.
like, well, Miles is definitely gonna break the rules, and I'm pretty sure everything's gonna be okay. I don't know, but
Nah, something has to happen. And
like
so
like
with
like
that being said, something's going to happen.
something has to. So like,
Yeah.
I don't know if you ever watched Smallville, but like there was an like the TV show that used to come on. There's
Mhm.
an episode where basically Clark's girlfriend died. And he's like, nah, I'm not gonna let this happen. And he goes back in time. And someone's like, yo, if you go back in time, like you're breaking the rules, you're not allowed to do that. And he's like, nah, I don't care, I'm gonna do it. I'm super I have superpowers, I can do what I want. So he
Right.
goes back and saves her, but then his dad dies instead.
Mhm.
Right? So like that's something where it seems like it was handled well, where like you just because you have the plot armor of the main character, you're not immune to everything.
Right.
Um, and but I mean, a lot of movies and a lot of media, it just seems that it's like the character could just say, "No, I don't care how many thousands of times this has happened. I'm the one. I'm the one who's gonna stop it."
Yeah, no. Yeah.
I don't
It's
even know. I don't even know what to call that. I don't know if it's a complaint. It's just it's something I've noticed. It's
yeah.
something I've noticed, and I don't know. It's something that always makes me think. Because in this one, I'm very sympathetic to my Miguel O'Hara, maybe because he's one of my favorite Spider-Men
Right.
from the comics. So like I'm like he's presented as a anti-hero or an antagonist sort of, and he's one I like because he makes me think. I
Mhm.
think that's the ultimate point I'm getting at, yo. That's what I wanted to say. It's not something I disliked about this movie. It's just
Right.
something that I've always thought about in media. Um,
Well, yeah. He has real motivation for the whole thing.
yeah,
Like, and that made me like him. I mean, he was an asshole, but
but
for
yeah.
a good reason.
Was he? Because what's his name? Peter B. Parker is very annoying, and
Yeah.
Miguel was just basically like he let him do what he did. He told Gwen he was like, "Look, you're not cut out for this. You have to go."
Right.
And I mean, he's just trying to stop Miles, not like it's again. I guess his attitude, he is the way he is because of the trauma he went through.
Yeah, the things he's gone through.
Yeah,
Like there's
and he's like,
nothing
"Look,
there's
you don't
nothing
like what I'm doing, but I'm
yeah.
telling you, I'm trying to help you." And it's really interesting. Again, that's another plot point. It's really interesting how all of this is going to come together because Miles has a universe to save. He has two universes to save, honestly. I'm sorry, what am I saying? He has a multiverse to save from Spot. He has
Mm.
people to save in one universe, people to save in this universe he's stuck in. Gwen Stacy is like, okay, now you know what? I don't know if Miguel O'Hara's right, so she forms her own little spider society. Like the movie is so good. Like
Right.
I guess we we spent 25 minutes talking about how good this movie is, and there are no problems. I'm gonna go out on a limb and say me and Jovi are both giving this a 5.
Oh no, this is a 5.
Yeah,
This is a 5, and we haven't done a 5 in a long time.
this is a 5
It,
out of 5. We need to come up with a phrase when we both give something a 5 that is
this
just
is
that
really a 5.
like it is 5. It's beyond awesome. It's
Yeah.
something that needs to be seen. Pay full matinee prices if you have, or pay full prices if you have to.
Yeah. I don't this is something that literally a 4-year-old to a 84-year-old could go see.
Yeah, and that's something like we said it's 2.5 hours long, and it doesn't feel it. Any child will love this movie. I
I
think the
didn't realize it.
beginning.
I didn't realize it was long until Nasir fell asleep.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I was
and
just
but
about to say, I
this
think
was
the
late. We went to a later movie, and it
yeah.
was like a Thursday at that. I was like, I looked over, and I was like, "What the heck?" I was like,
Did
"Oh,
he fall asleep? Did he wake back up?
he did, he
Okay,
did."
so see, the beginning of the movie
Yeah,
is it's more adult, I guess, because there's a lot of dialogue.
it's straight story building in
Yeah.
the beginning of the film.
This honestly, you know, what this reminds me of, bro. This reminds me of the movie we love, Dune Part One, where
Oh
the
yeah,
movie was so good. But even though I think this is an even better Part One than that. But it's like all like there's going to be so much payoff in Part Two,
oh
or in this
man,
case, Part Three, that like you just can't wait, man.
I'm here for every second.
Yeah,
Um, with it coming out next year, I'm already ready to. As soon as I can put in days off, I think I'm gonna have to. We got
yeah,
to make
bro.
sure that we are here. Your work schedule's a little different from mine. You
Oh,
have a
I'm
little
fine
more
with that.
important job.
I'm fine with that.
You may be out of the country at the time, but we gotta. Yeah, that's something that has to
Bro,
be a
like honestly,
celebration.
if this movie is even, let's say, 75% is good, the last one, if it's 75% as good as these first two, I'm gonna dub this the best comic book trilogy I've ever seen.
Oh yeah. Oh, I've been, and that's been in my head. I was like, if they can do it, this will be the best
Because
trilogy.
honestly, I was talking about someone. I don't know. Like, I can't think of a movie or a set of movies that is like definitively better than Into the Spider Verse and Across the Spider Verse. Like, everyone talks about the Dark Knight trilogy that came out, you know, Christopher Nolan's Batman, which I mean is great. Um, I think that, yeah, I think this trilogy would beat it if they're able to. Um, even as individual movies, like I can't think of a movie that I can say that is definitively better than Into the Spider Verse. Like it was so good, and I'm so happy that this movie is getting the attention it deserves. The Flash is in trouble, and I think it comes out next week. Well, no, I
Friday,
guess yeah. So 2 weeks away, maybe
2
by
weeks
then
away.
I'll get
We're
it. But
seeing it
like,
early.
yeah, but like, yeah, this is the definitive comic book movie of this year. This is the best. This is the best Marvel thing. I guess. Well, technically, I guess it's Sony, but I guess the best Marvel character I've seen in his movies since. Well, no, I guess Guardians is pretty good. Guardians is
Guardians
good.
is
I
pretty.
was with that, but this is
But
way better
yeah,
than that too. So
yeah. No, this is
I
way
say,
better. Way better because there's no within these two films. I'm not comparing it to the first one. I'm enjoying it as them together,
yep,
right? As a continual story.
yep. Which is
And
crazy. I don't even know if this was like the way they tie them together. I can't even say it was planned, bro. I feel like they
mm,
just went back. They had to go back and watch it and say, maybe we can use this. And like they legit was studying the first film to find a way to tie it together.
yeah, man,
Like,
they've worked so hard with this. That's why this third one can come out so fast
mhm.
because they literally have been working since that released and they got those numbers. Sony was like, "Oh, cool. Y'all have the go ahead to work on the next two
Yeah,
films."
the first one, I think it made back like 3 times its budget. It should have. I think it only. I don't even think it hit 400 million, which is a
It
shame.
did not make a lot in
This one's going
movie
to.
in movie terms, a
Yeah,
lot of money. This one quadrupled in the first night.
yeah, yeah,
That's a what?
yeah,
On that Thursday.
yeah. This
It made
trending.
more money on Thursday than it did in its opening weekend.
Yeah, that yeah, yep.
Like
Because I
that.
mean, because that shows how good the first one was, right? Word of mouth spread, people saw
Oh
it on
yeah,
demand, and
and so I wrote a little. I do things and throw them online. I should do them more on our page, but it's just like y'all didn't know who Miles was, and now y'all do, and y'all realize how dope he is.
hmm
So like that is the biggest thing. They were like, "Oh, a Black Spider Man," and it's like this. It's been like that since freaking what is Charles Gambino's real name? Donald Glover made the joke, or the people made a joke on Twitter about him being Spider Man. Like everybody's like, there can't be a Black Spider Man. It's like that's not true.
oh yeah, because yeah, yeah, but yeah,
And
no,
so he literally has done 3 Spider Man projects before the first one dropped. And it was like, hey, he voiced Miles, he did all that, and it's like, yeah, this is cool. Miles Morales is cool.
yeah,
He's
he's a
cool.
he's a cool Spider Man. I like I said, I'm very interested to see how he's going to solve this problem because he was very I guess rebellious in this movie against Miguel's idea again.
Mhm.
Again, which I'm just thinking like I'm like, look, I don't want to kill 10 people, but if it saves a million, go ahead. But like he's I'm very interested to see how he's like how he's going to solve these problems because they don't seem solvable, bro.
Mm-mm.
But like, yeah, I'm very interested to see how Miles' story continues. Having said that, I know they're planning a live action movie with him, and I hope they get some of the people from this movie to help. Otherwise, it's going to be trash.
Oh no, they need uh, there is no ifs, ands, or buts. The people that wrote these 3 films need to write that film.
Yeah, bro. Like, cause seriously, if you give me the Morbius writers for that movie, I might go to Sony and like I might
I don't know.
I'm gonna like
If
fight.
y'all ruin and then the opportunity they have,
Yeah,
they
bro.
showed Prowler. He exists.
Uh huh.
He exists in real life.
Yeah, they showed him. Yeah.
He's
So,
in
bro, so like that's the like, it's making me upset, man, because we know Sony's live action movies suck. So like, and they're announcing all these projects. They're saying we're getting a Spider Gwen movie, a Miles
oh,
Morales movie. They're doing all
oh.
these villains. It's like you guys might be doing a little too much. There's a such thing as too much of a good thing, and
As
you guys
much
can't
as
even
I
give us a
hate
good thing. So
as much as I hate the Sony villain movies, just stick to that. Just stick to that. Do that. do not try. Do not try this. We already know they're going to do it because of the success. They're about money.
hmm
So, hey,
oh, you're saying you just don't want them to ruin the characters, so
I
don't even do
don't. I
it.
don't. I don't want y'all to touch it.
Yeah. I'm
I'd rather you bring back the Sam Raimi
mhm.
Spider-Man instead of you making a Miles Morales live action.
Yeah, man.
Even though I want to see it, that's not the problem. It's not that I don't want it. I don't want Sony to make
I agree. I
it.
100% agree. Oh man. All right, Shaw. Hey, thanks for sticking around with us for this movie, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. Have you seen it? Let us know what you think about it. Do you agree it's I mean, we're adding to the hype of it being so good, but like yeah, like Joe was saying, let us know right down there in the comments what y'all think, yeah. Yeah, until next time, we out.
Deuces.